In the bustling world of Mario Kart, there's always been one track that's always really stood out to me, just being Toad's factory. Hidden away in the Mushroom Kingdom's industrial zone, this busy processing and shipping facility isn't just a really cool backdrop for kart racing. It actually plays a really key role in the Mario Kart universe, just pumping out all those item boxes that we all know and love. Picture it. A huge factory with yellow roof buildings, heaps of towering cranes, and a bunch of conveyor belts just running through it like veins. Inside, hydraulic presses powered by star magic are really hard at work, just turning those old brick blocks that we all know and love into those beautiful item boxes that you grab mid-race. It's just such a unique setting, and one that's always just really stuck with me. But here's the weird part. Despite how iconic this was in Mario Kart Wii, Toad's factory hasn't shown up again in any future games, until now. Hey everyone, I'm Swiftjar, and welcome back to my favorite series on this channel, of course being the Changes and Analysis series, where we just take an old Mario Kart track and completely overanalyze it, and just see how it's evolved over the years. As you saw in the title, we're going to be diving into Toad's factory today, and I've got a very special guest joining me along for the ride, just being Schaffrillas Productions. The setup of the video is pretty simple. We'll look at what made this track so good from the start, hear why Schaffrillas is so hyped for its return, and then just go over all the updates it's going to be getting in Mario Kart World. If a certain part catches your eye and you don't feel like sticking around for the entire video, you can just simply use the timestamps down below. And also, before we do get started, just be aware that I am going to be giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 on this channel with Mario Kart when this thing launches. All you have to do is be subscribed to be in the running for it, and if you're in the Discord or following on Twitter as well, you'll also get an extra entry. But that's enough yapping, let's get into this analysis. So, Toad's Factory first debuted as the fourth and final course of the Mushroom Cup in Mario Kart Wii. And honestly, right from the very start, it just stood out to me as something special. Set in the Mushroom Kingdom's industrial heartland, this course just took the high-speed chaos of Mario Kart and literally just dropped it into the middle of a working factory. And as I mentioned at the start, this is just complete with clanking machines, conveyor belts, and even just mud splattered just like construction zones. Being a factory, it should be no surprise that the track is going to be fitted with a lot of moving belts and just a bunch of heavy machinery. Some that will actually literally crush you if you're not careful. As I hinted to during the intro, according to the in-game lore, this is actually where the item boxes are manufactured. They kind of just start off as just simple wooden crates, and then are just transformed into the power-up blocks. In the factory as well, there are lots of different directional panels that just kind of just push your car into different directions. And as the lap winds down, you even find yourself in literally a massive patch of mud, and you want to make sure you blast through it just to avoid losing any momentum. The race actually begins just outside the factory gate, with the starting line banner just featuring two little Toad icons and a massive giant mushroom sign above it on the factory itself. After you enter the building itself, you take a right turn filled with cogs, just where races are thrown onto a long corridor with 3 conveyor belts. The one in the center moves forward, just giving you a slight speed edge, while the ones on the sides actually work against you. And to make things even tougher, there's actually some slammers that are actually going over these belts, really just flattening anything that's caught beneath them. So you kinda gotta pick which side you wanna go the slower outer routes, or go through the middle and try to just gun it, right? You then go through another right turn, and a nice little jump ramp that leads outside, just where there's twisting belts curving left and right. These outdoor belts actually carry crates and even item boxes. Above the next factory entrance, you also spot another Toad icon just proudly holding an item box, just in case you forgot where you are. This entire outdoor section is just bathed in sunlight, and I just love all the yellow rooftops in the background, just really embracing that real nice bright kind of atmosphere that you probably expect in a factory like this. It just feels kind of like a real hard day of labor. The second indoor section actually begins with a sharp U-turn, which you can actually fall off of if you're not careful. And then it leads into a nice little uphill climb, just with 2 curved belts. The outer one moves with you, and the inner one pushes against you. So you kinda gotta pick your battles here. You take a quick little left route after this one, just for a nice little red lit hallway, which kinda feels pretty dangerous. It feels like the place is gonna explode. You then go through a dash panel ramp that shoots you back outside the factory again, before you then enter a dirt-like section filled with plenty of hazards, and the track gets a whole lot more bumpy. There's even a lake you can cut across if you do have a mushroom. After one last final right turn, there's a finely muddy straightaway just with plenty of dash panels and other things just listed in the middle. So if you have a boost here, you're gonna fly through this section. And then you complete your first lap and have 2 more to go. One thing I always found really weird about this outdoor section though, is the fact that all these yellow structures on the side kind of resemble half parts. I'm actually surprised in the Wii version these actually weren't half parts, because that was one of the main gimmicks of Mario Kart Wii. So kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity. Toad's Factory is also going to be making its grand return in Mario Kart World, and it'll be appearing as the 3rd track in the Lightning Cup. While the core layout is still recognizable, there are actually quite a few new twists. Before I do dive into all the core changes, I actually want to pass the microphone over to my pal, Just Being Schaffrillas Productions, just to let you all know why he's absolutely keen for this track making a comeback.
Thanks, Swiftjar. Toad's Factory is an absolute gift to mankind, from the incredible theme to the unreal bop of a music track. And this remake looks so faithful to the original, right down to the art direction. The factory vibe has been kept very intact, and there's a lot of steel beams and railings that look very drivable now. Ooh. I'm so excited. It doesn't look immensely reimagined or anything, but it's a good old blast from the past, and that's all we really wanted. Make Toad's Factory a stage in the next Smash Bros. Make it a fighter even, why not? Toad's Factory for life, baby!
Thanks so much, my dude. It's always really appreciative linking up with you. Anyway, this course looks gorgeous as all hell right now. And although I don't have official gameplay footage from Nintendo themselves to look at all the changes, we at least have some mobile phone footage that has been filmed just to see all the changes that we can actually spot. A massive shout out goes to Game Boo for the footage, which actually has the side-by-side comparison available on YouTube to view. So I'm going to be using that footage here. As mentioned, this track will be returning as the 3rd track in the Lightning Cup for Mario Kart World. Quite a distance away from the Mushroom Kart from its original version, but it still looks good as all hell, so I can't complain. One of the standout additions to this track now is of course the new dynamic lighting. Races can now of course take place during both the day and also night, and the weather will also affect this track as well. At nighttime, the factory lights shine much brighter, just giving the whole course a much more dramatic and immersive atmosphere. You almost feel like you shouldn't be driving here. Also, to accommodate the expanded 24 racer roster, the track also appears slightly wider in some areas, so I won't point every single little bit of that out every time. The starting line itself has actually now been pushed back further from the factory entrance. The banner has also been redesigned as well. It now looks like a large golden sign with wheels, just complete with spectators perched on the top too. The Mario Kart text is also now lit up, just thanks to some spotlights placed around its border. I actually really like this. It's also noticeable that the mushroom sign in the original has now been removed, which makes a lot more sense considering that this is now in the Lightning Cup. Not too big of a deal. Once you now enter inside the factory, you'll actually notice there's quite a few visual and just structural changes. The iconic background cogs are now actually blocked off by the blue walls, but in exchange, the interior has actually received a proper facelift. Walls, gates, and containers are now all proudly stamped with the Toad Manufacturing logo, and you actually see this exact branding in other places during the game as well. So Toad's Factory is definitely moving up in the world. You also notice like warning signs, sector codes, and safety labels just scattered throughout the course. Maybe that's why this track didn't come back for all these years. Maybe they had some actual proper restructuring they had to do just to get this factory up and running so people can actually visit it, because it seemed pretty dangerous in the original. Some of the in-factory elements have also now been updated. The crates in the hydraulic press room are now styled as brick blocks, and the conveyor belts in the crane area no longer actually have crates sliding across them. Coins have also been placed more strategically around the track as well, especially along the walls, just hinting that these are now used to access a second level. In fact, rail grinding is also now possible too. The Mario Kart World Direct trailer actually shows players jumping on the walls and then going to a second level, just where they use these rails to then grind on paths and stuff like that. Item boxes can even be found on these high routes too. I really like this change. There also appears to be bitty buds in cones in this part of the course as well, probably as a hazard. And also, I really like actually getting to see the item box get crafted this time around as well. You can see them being developed in the actual glass section here, it's pretty cool. The first right turn inside the factory also looks absolutely stunning during the night time, just with the glowing red arrow signs just guiding you towards the shipping dock. and even some rails there that actually look like they'd be perfect for grinding, so I'd probably expect you can do that here. Unfortunately though, the iconic Toad sign in the shipping container section has now been removed, which is a real bummer to be honest. Still though, this area is looking so beautiful now, just being all lit up at nighttime. Of course, it's going to be available during the day too, and will probably look as good as ever, but it just really shines at night, which I love. The next right-hand turn leading uphill has also been made a little bit more safer, just with the addition of guardrails to prevent players from falling off. The lighting here also continues too, just with lights on top of the ceiling that also look like they can actually be grinded on. So maybe that's why they got rid of the actual death part on the right-hand side where you can fall off, because hopefully you'll be able to actually jump up there and grind on the top. As you continue moving through the course now, the conveyor belt turn no longer has item boxes on the right hand side, and the item boxes that used to appear in the red lit corridor have now actually been moved a little bit more forward, just before the jump that launches you outside towards the final section, rather than being at the final jump. Speaking of the ending, the water hazard near the final stretch has actually been replaced with off-road mud, and the old dash panel has now been swapped out for a much smaller launch ramp. The last right-hand turn also now features lit up red arrow signs, and the entire outdoor area has just been brightened up so much by the large stadium lights in the background. It also seems that the trucks no longer move in this version too, which I'd like to see a little bit more of before I make a complete judgment on that. Another fine detail that you actually notice is that you can now see Bowser's Castle in the distance on the map. This course is looking really good. All in all, while the layout does remain mostly unchanged, which I'm super happy about, the track looks even better than ever. The crowd feels so much more alive, the lighting adds tons of personality, and the little quality of life updates just show real care. And if you had any doubts that this was in the Lightning Cup, just check out this image on screen. This is Toad's factory on a whole new level, and I mean that literally. Just having multiple paths you can actually take in the factory now too is gonna make this feel so much more alive. But that has been all the changes that I was able to spot in Toad's factory. Let me know down in the comment section what you just think of the track itself now, and of course if you notice any changes that I missed. I'll be sure to update the pinned comment below with any other facts that weren't here. A massive shout out also goes to every single person in the Swift Cafe Discord just for helping out point a lot of these smaller details. It is super appreciative. You can find your invitation in the description below. Of course though, if you did enjoy this video, it would be super appreciated if you could leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe, because it really helps out the channel a lot. And while you're down in the comment section as well, let me know what track you want to see next, and also what guests you want to see on there as well. Until next time though, make sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!